We're doing this Trash Heroes thing now. I have a bird stuck to my hands. Pico, no biting. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Do we have noises? I don't... Hey, Chad. Oh, oh, we got problems. Are there problems? We got problems. No, I think Discord audio? Discord. Hello? Can we hear the DM? But not for lane. No lane noises. What's going on? Nope, it's on my end, I think. Just give me a second.
Speak without
Nope.
pause.
I fixed it, so now you can.
Oh, okay.
I do not remotely believe you have ever hurt yourself, Raven.
I'm well known for my patience and what's that other one that they say about nuns? Modesty?
Yeah. Those are both things.
Yeah.
Those are both things that apply to some people.
Alina, we really need to fix that tracker. I was just looking at the text around it, and it's just like speaking in tongues. People, they can hear people.
Cool.
Hello, hello. All right. If I am being heard, then I'm going to say the things that I say when we start playing this game, which is to say, hello, internet friends and webcomic fans. It's your friendly neighborhood dungeon biologist, me, welcoming you to another heaping helping of Trash Heroes, the Dungeons & Dragons stream where we recount the epic adventures of a wildly improbable collection of horrible creatures known as the Trash Heroes. Our players tonight, as every night, is this wonderful collection of internet art-making peoples, artistes, and they do their art at various places that you can find in your upper right-hand little box. Please do check out their works online. There are various Patreons and social medias and ways to support them. Always good to support your local artists, even if local is on the internet. And without further ado, hey, if you're on the internet, local is everywhere.
That's true.
Let's meet the characters. First up, it's the Keeper of the Vermin, Protector of the Trash Heap, Fetid Quaggle.
It's me. Hi.
He's the problem. Next up is the
Everybody
larger-than-life
agrees.
pit fighting superstar, Ugna Sugar Tusks.
Oh yeah, it's bone crushing time.
And next we have the trickster cleric, rogue baker, and all-around party animal, Tromlin Dariels.
Existence is pain, so you might as well fuck. That's my catchphrase now.
Exactly. New tagline just dropped. Next is the trickster, or sorry, I already said the trickster cleric. Now I'm losing track of my thing. And then there's the wild magic streaming sensation, Morgan D. Sater.
Like, subscribe, and follow because anything could happen.
And finally, not yet joined us, but soon will, our sweet old grandpa, who's also accidentally an ancient warlock, Copernicus Sunshine.
We all know his horrifying catchphrase.
It is both horrifying and catchy. Okay, so last time, oh my goodness. Last time on Trash Heroes, when we last left our heroes, after the party's encounter with crotchety old turtle Guzman the Wizard, who gave them a magic code to overcome the living statues, they were able to quickly take out one of the two remaining ritual stones with a surprise attack using Morgan's Dimension Door spell to get in and out quickly. However, when they attempted the same tactic for the final stone, they found that the Raven cult, was ready for them. Waiting in the guard tower was a contingent of soldiers, a band of Weaselkin warlocks, the so-called followers of Toad, and none other than Mr. Toad himself. However, the party had recently learned his weakness, that his monk powers come not from any kind of training or abilities of his own, but from the magic amulet he wears to channel his ancestor. So this led to immediately a combat that took a turn for the worse. right out of the gate. Tromlin disappeared. He was supposed to misty step into the tower with the others, but never arrived.
Right. I forgot
And we'll
about
come back to that momentarily. Ugna got immediately stunned by kicks from Toad and then paralyzed by the living statues, and was effectively out of the combat. And a wild magic surge rendered both Morgan and Copernicus unable to speak, creating foaming pink bubbles instead, making spellcasting hard. So things were not looking great. Fetid tried immediately to shoot Toad's magic amulet, but the nimble Toad snatched the arrow out of midair, and disarmed Fetid's bow with a ranged tongue attack. You guys didn't know he could do that, but he did.
I should have guessed.
However, just before Copernicus lost his ability to speak, he was able to use Guzman's magic code to turn the statues against Toad. Morgan then used the potion of Schadenfreude that you guys found a little while ago to return Toad's damage to him, and then used most of her remaining sorcery points to subtle spell cast a storm sphere, rolling a critical strike to hit Toad's amulet with the lightning bolt, and it
Hell
exploded. The statues froze with the destruction of the amulet, while Morgan's wild magic caused a blast of poison vomit to come out of her all over the warlocks, just before she thunderstepped away from them, leaving the landing of the tower a howling mess of storm wind, poison, vomit, and exploded weasels flying off.
Nice.
And Morgan was quite mortified at all of the gross.
It was nasty.
I didn't even have
Ugna.
prestidigitation.
Ugna was finally free to act and roared out an intimidating rant to back up Copernicus, who was making Toad's eyes bleed with his blood magic. And this caused the remaining surviving foes to flee back down the stairs, giving y'all the opportunity for Ugna to destroy the stone with her hammer. Fetid at this point had recovered his bow and disappeared into the shadows. Temporarily. This was our right out for Fetid for the time. And suddenly the other river folk quaggles, Ratty, Moly, and Badger, appeared and took custody of the whimpering, whining Toad, saying that he needed to be tried by his people. And they disappeared into the sewerways with him. At this point, I will say that I presumed that Fetid would possibly follow after. Which
That
was
seems
my
like
right
something
out.
I would do.
And we'll come back to that shortly. Copernicus, having regained his voice, thunderstepped the party out of the tower and turned them invisible to escape the rallying guardsmen. Back in the sewers, the party spent the next several days helping to fight back the weasels now that they lost their leader, eventually pushing them out of the tunnels and accessing the dungeons of the Citadel. And as the group entered, we ended the game with the party being contacted unexpectedly by Dangalf the Wizard, who had to use several sending spells to make contact.
He's really
But
bad at
before
that.
we pick up with that, I'm going to backtrack and deal with what happened to Tromlin. So that's where we pick up. Yeah, that combat left Morgan entirely out of spell slots and sorcery points.
And
Copernicus
inspirations.
Yeah.
Anyone
Copernicus out of
feels generous?
Copernicus took a black token
Yep.
to command the statues, but then I immediately cashed it in like an asshole to have the wild magic affect his voice as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair
Fun
DM
times.
thing to do.
That's what DMs do.
Indeed. So the original plan to do these sneak attacks and quickly get in and out and take out the statue, the stones without fighting the statues, was that Morgan was using a twinned dimension door to take 4 of you in, and Tromlin, carried up the outside wall by Ugna, could misty step in with the rest of the group by just peering through one of the arrow slits. And that worked just fine on the first tower, as you guys basically popped in. Copernicus used the magic code to shut down the statues, destroyed the magic stone, at range, so you didn't get damaged, and then poof back out again. But at this second tower, Tromlin, when you went to do the exact same thing in Misty Step, something went awry.
What?
So, as you use your Fey powers to step through the mists, you found yourself, instead of just stepping to the spot you were looking at in the room, you found yourself lost in the mist and stepping instead into the Feywilds, which you immediately recognize because you've had similar things happen to you before. Tromlin found himself in some kind of murky swamp with misty fog and evil-seeming gases floating hazily over the knee-deep black muck, foul-smelling and sucking at his legs, in places oily and fluid with floating thatches of choking weeds, and the occasional skeletal tree reaching up hopelessly into the dim light.
Good.
It is cold and dark, and all growing things seem dead in the heart of a winter swamp. Lost and wandering, you recognize that you are clearly deep in the Feywilds, and you wander for an extended period of time, eventually finding in the darkest part of this dead swamp a hillock of land standing above the bog, with a dark cave slashed in one side, shaded by an overhanging dead tree. And in the tree sits a single red-eyed raven.
Oh, good.
Great.
Peering into the shadowy crack in the hill, trying hard to remain unseen with your elven cloak. You see a huge carved throne of black rock within the cave, upon which sits a larger than human hooded figure, hunched and twisted, with long silver gray hair hiding her face. And despite your hiding with the cloak, she immediately beckons you forward to a circle of stones sitting in front of her throne.
Well, I mean, I might as well, right?
You're like, when in Rome.
Well, more of, I don't think I can get away from this person if I wanted to.
Is it Nightshade?
And as you step into the circle, you find yourself illuminated by a beam of moonlight, finding a finger through the mists. And the figure casts back her hood, and you can see one oversized eye peering at you in a space in the shock of hair. And she says, I am Kaliach. And you may immediately make either a religion check or a arcana check, which I think for you are the same.
Yeah, I'm not really great on either. Oh, hold on. 20. 1. If I botched, it'd be funny. Ha! 3.
3 plus 1 or 3 total?
3 total.
Not that it matters a whole lot. You have the vaguest sense that you should know that name, but you don't.
I properly genuflect because obviously she has a position of power, and that's an appropriate thing to do.
Mm-hmm. She says, "You are Tromlin. I know your blood. The house
Specifically
of
the blood.
Poultry.
That is true, although the house does not claim or want me.
You have been a servant to my enemies, but they merely use you in their games. I would, in my turn, use you against them."
I will do my best still from a kneeling position. I'm trying to be appropriate because I'm in her court. As politely as possible, say, I beg your forgiveness, but which enemies are those? I have served a lot of people. Some are worse than others.
I'm gonna give you another religion or arcana check. This is somewhat not on who she is, but on more circumstance.
4.
Are you good to go?
Do I have any inspiration?
You're full up.
I'll inspire that.
All right,
Be a good idea.
inspirize. I believe that's the
23.
correct term.
Woo,
That
was
is-
worth it.
Damn. Okay.
How did you get a 23?
21. My mistake. 21.
Yeah, sorry, you added your 3
So,
from your last
Yeah.
roll. No,
Yeah,
no
21.
that was the whole roll. 21. So nat 20 is pretty damn exceptional. So you still don't recognize the name, but from the circumstances, you kind of murkily piece together a little of what you know. You've had conversations about this with Copernicus. The Fae have 2 courts, right? The Seelie and the Unseelie.
Oh no,
Those that
she's
are-
Sealy, isn't she?
So she's Unseelie, and you know you've been kind of serving the Seelie after your encounter with the little mushroom guys and Pucklezog. You know that that there was some kind of Seelie side there, and you know also that the cult of the Raven are at least nominally or peripherally serving the Unseelie because they're cultists following the Raven Queen, who is an archfey of the Unseelie. You also know that there's not really a big difference, right? Like it's all just, you know, all Fae are tricky and you know, whisk people away, and Fae is Fae, right?
Yeah.
It's the flavor, right? The Seelie are more of the spring and summer. They're you know, sneaky and creepy, but more promiscuous and merry. And the Unseelie are still promiscuous and merry, but more creepy and sneaky.
Find out where Nightshade lies on that axis.
I mean, one would assume that Nightshade is
Unseelie?
Unseelie-ish.
Yeah.
But
whole city's kinda
you know
creepy.
from your conversations with Copernicus that she's never been affiliated with the Raven Queen. So like she's got obvious sort of Raven-y connections, and yet, you know, it's the whole thing. There's this eternal kind of power struggles within the courts that effectively no one else cares about, except, you know, the people who are affected by the random capriciousness of the Fae. So yeah, you're relatively certain that you're speaking with an Unseelie, and that the service she's referring to, where you have supposedly been a servant to her enemies, is probably to do with the Seelie. And your main sort of service that you know of to the Seelie was very much a physical service that resulted in a whole thing.
He put the time
Yeah.
in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That was
She
hands-on.
says, I would make a bargain with you, Tromlin of the House Bulltree.
Nothing bad has ever come from that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Immediately on high alert, but
Also, no one has
listening.
ever called Tromlin that before. Ugh.
All right. Of course, milady. What boon would you offer, and what payment would you require?
Why, the payment is what I have already said. I would have you serve against my enemies in the way that they have placed you upon the chessboard. I would have the pawn move to the other color.
She's trying to fuck you!
Isn't that
You know,
true?
my
Isn't
brain-
it to the end?
The Fae are always trying to fuck
Yeah.
Tromlin. It seems like just a thing.
My brain went to Allison through the looking glass, how she gets turned into a queen by reaching the other side of the board.
Yep.
Um,
As for the boon that I offer, it is that which you most desire, the means for your vengeance.
well, shit, now it's hard to ignore this.
And I am going to cash in your black token.
Ooh.
Well, we had it happen eventually, so
Yep. I will take that away.
time to get one.
She says, I know of the contract which binds you to my rivals. I know she who signed that contract.
Oh?
How do you respond to that, I wonder?
Is this news to me? Like, that I'm signed to a contract?
I mean, you didn't sign nothing.
Hello,
And
dog.
also, who's this she who signed you? Like, is
Yeah.
this related to the well, you know what? I'm gonna ride on that nat 20 on your arcana. Your initial thought would be that this is related to when you sort of pledged yourself to the Lady Weft, that she would have had some sort of hold over you. But you know that when it comes to contracts with the Fae, it's mortals that sign these. It's not contracts between Fae. That's a whole like they have their own convoluted arcane system for what they
My God,
bargain with each
my
other.
brain was straight to, did my birth mother sign something?
I wonder if such a thing could be.
I mean, I'm going to keep listening because I'm not going to interrupt someone who is obviously more powerful than me.
Yeah. Also, I hear
Randy,
firstborns are
Randy,
pretty
did
popular
you, Randy,
for
did you
contracts.
write that your character got baptized, Randy? God damn it, Randy!
My character has been baptized unless, like, facials count.
Excellent. How
That's
extremely
the only
trauma.
Tromlin truly cares about.
She says, this information also would I offer to you in exchange for your service.
Question, do I know that if I refuse her, am I dead?
You're definitely not like in a place of power. Like you're clearly within the Feywilds and you're facing something powerful. You didn't recognize the name, so you're not 100% sure what you're facing. But with that second nat 20 as to the nature of things, you'd probably guess this is an archfey. This is like this is possibly not an actual god, which as an archfey would be, but maybe just an avatar of one. But like this is up there with the time you fucked an avatar of Lolth.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a lot.
You don't know who
As
she's an avatar of though, because you botched that roll.
as the lady wishes, I am at your service.
Okay. A silver scroll is drawn out of her cloak. And she unrolls it and it's like comically long. But it like floats towards you. And it's written in like silver, like sylvan runes, and you can't read it. And at the bottom there's a place to sign. And a quill, a black raven's quill appears in your hand. As it appears in your hand, you feel a pain vaguely in your wrist, and you look down, and there's blood on the quill, like ink, already there.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Which immediately turns to silver as
Don't
it
I
drips.
have all comprehend languages?
You might. I think you got
Be useful.
an ability to cast it. You've got a linguist's knowledge that allows you to roll for spoken stuff. And I'm just checking if you have the spell comprehend languages for just actually casting it. No, you do not. Not as one of your auto ones. Let me double check if it's a. Because what I might do, if it's a cleric spell, is give you. It is not. Okay.
Cleric spell, no, I don't think. I think it's a
No.
bard works for a warlock and wizard.
Yeah, which means if it was one of the ones on your sheet from being an arcane trickster, that would be possible, but it is not.
Do I still have the gem of true seeing on me?
Ooh.
You do. You have no idea if that means you would be able to comprehend language or not, but you could try and see what you can see.
Madam, if you don't mind, I would like to at least attempt to peruse this as best I can before I sign it. I'm sure you understand.
Go ahead and make me like a diplomacy kind of a check, just to.
Not enrage her.
Yeah, like
Persuasion or what?
yeah, I would say persuasion. You're not trying to actively deceive her. You're just trying to be.
She knows what I'm doing. I'm not stupid. There's no way I can.
You're
hide it.
basically going. I don't have the high like religion or arcana knowledge to know exactly what's appropriate here, but I am charming as shit. God damn it! So I'm gonna.
29.
Yeah, you're pretty good. You're in pretty good shape.
I put it in my eye like a monocle.
Yep. Okay, so this is going to give you a true sight.
Yes.
Here is what true sight is going to do for you. It allows you to see through illusions and see so it doesn't help at all with the contract. But it does allow you to see her more truly. And instead of the twisted crone sitting on the throne, you see an impossibly beautiful woman. At first glance, you think it's Nightshade, but she's even larger and yet thinner. And her paleness runs to a level of being like she's made of moonlight. But you also see the raven's feathers through her hair. And I think what I'll give you with that is you suddenly realize what didn't click at the beginning, the name.
Raven Queen.
Yeah, this is the Raven Queen,
Oh shit.
or an avatar of the Raven Queen.
Oh no.
And so working with her is gonna fuck my party over.
I mean, you don't know. The thing is, with the Fae, like the Raven cult are warlocks of the Raven Queen, but that just means that's where they get their power, right? It's hard to say what her goals are versus what their goals are, right? That's the nature of things. So, for example, you know that Copernicus is a warlock of some kind of ancient, terrifying tomb god thing. You guys have learned a little bit about that. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's working towards ends that are apocalyptic for the rest of you.
True.
Not necessarily. He might
Could be. It could be.
At least, accidentally.
But this is the nature of the Fae.
I mean, we wouldn't put it past him.
Well, Fae are creatures of contract, correct? They like negotiation, yes?
Oh, yes.
May I request just one addition to the contract?
Go on.
That I am not forced to harm my immediate party. They are the closest thing to a family I've ever had.
I will, and she waves a hand, and more silver runes appear on the contract, and she says, I will allow you to choose what family you wish to harm.
Okay.
I mean, the Boltries. That's just I wish to harm them.
Yeah, that's not too difficult.
She doesn't care. She wants to leave it to your choice.
It's like the
Beautiful.
only family I do not want to harm, and I list the party's names.
She shrugs. It will be your choice.
Very well. Then, if that's the agreement, sign it.
Okay. You sign with blood, but it becomes a silver silver words. And she says, very well. I will direct you against those pieces on the chessboard I wish you to take. But for your own movements, en passant, as you will, she waves a hand and out of nowhere kind of appears next to you. Actually, no, the raven is going to fly down to your shoulder and is holding out in its beak a vial of black liquid.
Okay.
And you find suddenly at your, when you take it, the raven disappears, and you find suddenly at your feet is a little set of pouches of some belt pouches, some gear, and I will let you know that this is
Before
a
the Raven
poisoner's kit.
vanishes, there is one thing I wanted to do. Because I do know for a fact ravens like to eat ginger. So I want to reach into my pouch with bottle of spices and offer it some ginger.
Excellent.
I do love ginger.
You do so, and the raven accepts your gift with a little bow, almost, and then it like grins, like its beak raises up, like suddenly there are teeth, big shiny white teeth in the beak, and the corners of the beak turn up in a grin, and when it vanishes, it 100% Cheshire Cats. It vanishes with while the grin remains for a period of time.
With teeth, totally normal. That's great.
Yep.
As that happens, you feel like a burning sensation on your neck while that's happening. I just want to say that you now have, and you can put on your character sheet in your possessions, a poisoner's kit, which you now have proficiency with,
Oh, nice.
Oh, my.
and you have a vial of poison. You don't know what it is. It has labeled Sylvan runes, but you have various means of potentially determining what that says in future. You also feel that you have some important knowledge about this poison, but it lacks context, and you're sort of, you're like, something has been added to your memory, to your knowledge related to this, and of course that includes the proficiency that you now have with the poisoner's kit.
And I assume I probably have a raven tattoo in the back of my head.
Yep, on the side of your neck.
Delightful.
On the side of your still kind of silvery, scaly neck,
Oh yeah, that's right.
because you still have dragon features.
Well, that's gonna be fun talk with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And this now beautiful lady with raven feathers in her hair that you now know to be an avatar of the Raven Queen, tells you, I will tell you three things, and this will grant my side of the bargain until you choose to act. First is the name of the first signatory. She was Marion. And you know that name. Marion Boltry is the name of your mother.
Bitch.
The second signatory was the Prince Helican, Lord of Gloaming. and you recognize that to definitely be a fae of some kind. You don't recognize the name off the at first glance. It was this contract which signed away a standard contract that signed away the firstborn. And the third thing I shall tell you is that which now you already know, the means to use the what the heck did I call it? Draft of torpor that you now possess. And with that, she like waves a hand and mists thicken and move in. And she says, "Until we meet again." And you find yourself misty stepping into an alleyway in a random part of Ravenfall that you definitely were not looking at as an intended target for your misty step. But you recognize this alleyway because you've been in it before. It is hours later. It is nightfall. And you are in the alleyway across from the Boltree Manor in Ravenfall.
Oh, goody. Maybe
And
it's time to
you
talk to Mom.
suddenly have the context that you were given knowledge of, and that knowledge is the layout that you remember of this building when you snuck into it before and stole documents from your father, including the location of the sleeping chambers and the kitchens. And you know that the draft of torpor, when consumed, will completely incapacitate its victims so that they may be done with as one pleases. And of course, you have the knowledge as a poisoner how to bake something with a draft of torpor in it. To the extent that if you did a decent cooking roll, I would give disadvantage on the poison saving throw.
I see where this is going. I adjust my tattoo to look like a chef. A human chef.
And as you are sneaking into the Boltrees, and I'll have you do your stealth. I'll remind you that you now, in fact, have the Pass Without Trace spell and an Elven Cloak. So you can make that stealth roll with advantage and a +10.
I will do these things because that makes total sense. So that'd be a +19 total.
You become an older chef who's got kind of blonde hair and a grumpy expression.
God, this is shit.
It's rotten.
34.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You easily make your way. Remember, the Assassin's Guild was watching the place. You know where they were hiding last time. You practically dance your way through the shadows, using another Misty Step, which you note that your Misty Step spell slot was never used, which is interesting. You Misty Step where you need
Whoa. Wait a minute.
to pass the guards and the walls.
Wait a minute. I vote discrimination. How come this satyr gets to have his Misty Step back, whereas I lost all of my spell slots? Oh!
I will.
You should get yourself a
I'm
dark
also
patron.
serving.
Yeah.
Evil's involved. That's why.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
for sure. Get yourself a dark patron. You can do whatever you want.
I tried to
'cause
get myself a lich, but we haven't seen him in a while.
It's like being a Republican. You get enough power.
Oh! Oh, the truth! Oh!
Anyway.
Yeah, so like you easily make your way back into the house as you did before, maneuvering to windows to misty step inside and bypass the guards with like your 34 stealth. I can't even possibly roll high enough for anyone to overcome. And you can make your ways to the kitchen, where with a brief listen, you hear discussion about the young lord and lady, as kitchen staff complain about having to make a late night snack, um, because of those spoiled brats. Lord of the Manor's not here, and they're very not happy about having to be ordered around by his snot-nosed kids, who they're all probably old enough to remember being like in literal diapers.
I will brazenly walk in and say,
Excellent.
"Pardon, the Lord has recently given me a hire, and since I'm just arrived because of, well, obviously the roads are a little hard to get through with what's been going on lately. But would you like me to take over? Persuasion check, I assume."
Sure. I was gonna RP it a bit first. The one who seems to be in charge, um, looks at you suspiciously and says, "I heard nothing about a new hire. Why? Who authorized this? Are you working for Lord Boltrey or one of his kin?"
I step toward him. I am working for the good Lord Voltry. He is my hire. I am his personal servant, and I produce a signet ring. As you can see, I have
Nice.
been very entrusted.
Nice.
Excellent. Go ahead and make that persuasion check with advantage.
All right. Okay, that's a good one. Oh, wow. Let's see. Do I take the natural 1 or do I take the 27?
Ooh.
I think you're
Take the
better off with that.
27, right?
Better off with that 27.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whenever I'm given a choice between a dice roll of 1
Yeah.
or 17,
I think
I
I'll
usually
go
take
for the not
17.
failing catastrophically.
Very important
Okay.
juncture.
Let me roll. That puts you pretty damn high, but I'm going to roll his insight just so I kind of know where we are, relatively speaking. Oh, he his eyebrows immediately go up. You maybe even kind of drop a little hint because that this house belongs to Draco, to Lord Draco Boltrey, and his brother was using it only temporary. So you can be like, well, I was hired by Lord Draco in Stormhill, and I was serving him personally before I came here. Like, you can throw out some tidbits um, of insider info, which immediately assuages any kind of suspicion. And he says, "Very well," and immediately starts barking orders and like sends 2 other of the apprentices that are in here out. He's like, "You can get yourselves to your rest so that you can deal with the morning. Um, I don't need to have my people knackered well before the morning chores begin." Um, and do you how are your baking skills?
Cut my teeth on it. Did they make a preference of what they want for their snack?
Um, Assorted dainties. The
Dainty.
the lady dislikes citrus, which of course is perfect because we have so many lemons but can't use them. The gentleman just has a sweet tooth, so I would aim for the sweeter. We were about to make, and he lists a couple of specific pastries which you're very familiar with. Um, And as soon as you demonstrate that you're like, yep, I'll make this, this, and this. He is happy to hand over the reins entirely, leaves you with 2 apprentices to order around, and he retires from the kitchen completely.
I'm actually going to take this time to teach these young apprentices a few cooking tricks.
Here's how you poison him. No.
Well, we'll get to that. But basically, I'm going to show them how to quickly make a gingerbread house. Make a small gingerbread castle with a lord and lady.
Oh,
With some raspberry and cherry and little strawberry kernels, but nothing tart, nothing citrusy. A little bit of glaze. And when they're not paying attention, I'm going to slip in the poison to both the cookies.
Indeed, and with so let's go ahead and have you make your poisoner's skill check.
Which is what is that going to be?
So this is it's a proficiency check rather than a skill check because that's how poisoning works. But because you have proficiency, you'll be adding your proficiency bonus. I think since you're baking, I will let you use your wisdom as your attribute. So you're basically rolling a +7. And thanks to your contract, you have advantage on this particular poisoning.
Oh, good. I mean, for me, good for me.
Yep. Now, depending on how good you roll here, I will affect their poison saving throw.
Thanks for the 35 months of Prime.
What the hell?
Someone subscribed for 35 months? My goodness. Thanks, Paul.
I'm just going to go in general real fast. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm very proud of that. This is my first roll. If I can get it uploaded to my phone. There's one.
I went to look, and of course, I saw the
oh my fucking
the
God.
twerking animation.
And here is my second roll.
I mean, I don't really need a second roll.
Made it, but I just want you to see it. There you go.
Beautiful. This is what happens when you use auto rollers.
Yep,
They
I
get
got
very
20
average.
and a 1.
It was either going to be like a 9 and an 11 or a 20 and a 1. Okay. In that case, I am going to give disadvantage on poison saving throws against this particular tidbit. So you're putting this into the gingerbread?
Yes, I'm in the batter that we use all of it with.
Nice.
Actually, wait, no. I'm going to put it in the icing because he has a sweet tooth, and he may be one of those people who likes the icing but does not eat the cookie.
Excellent. And
Ugna definitely likes the icing, but then also eats the cookie.
Morgan watches.
Pinky.
So the poison in question has like a sickly sweet smell to it, like rotting apples. It is like a weird black apple juice.
I'll be sure to cover that up with some anise and a few other things. I'm pretty strong.
Excellent. Make me a chefing roll as well, just to sort of establish how well made this is, and that's your usual wisdom plus proficiency, which I believe I give you. I believe I was giving you expertise on that, so that's a +10.
Make sure to put obvious mistakes in there, just in case your stuff is too good, literally.
I'm supposed to be a royal chef. I have to be the best, otherwise they wouldn't have me here. These people don't like imperfection. I'm living proof. That will be a 26.
Excellent. Okay, so it's very, very tasty. You have a moment where you just at the the corner of your eye notice one of the apprentices taking away the icing bowl, lifting up the spoon for a surreptitious lick.
Like, no. Trust me on
Like,
this one.
slap it out of his hand.
I will make you something better. I promise. And I will actually, while this is working, make them like a late night breakfast.
Yeah.
Tell them to
Staff
sit
meal.
down. Yep. I'll make them like a nice, stack of pancakes with some strawberry syrup.
Oh my god, Tromlin's fried eggs would be so good. They'd be like the perfect amount of crispy.
So
So
during this process, you receive a message in your mind from your fununcle, your grandfuncle, just checking in. You never showed up to the fight, and we were all very worried. I've been trying to
I'm
reach you.
reply alive, well, taking care of a personal matter. Be there as soon as possible.
And the hilarious thing about that is that it's almost exactly what I said during the game
Amazing.
last session, is that he was
I
dealing with
don't
a
know the
personal
timing
matter.
of this. I think we
Even though I
said,
didn't know
I wonder if he's
exactly.
murdering his family. We're just like, that seems,
Well, lucky.
When in doubt.
When in doubt, assume matricide.
Yep.
Now, how do you want to go about this? You are quite aware that it's your sister Lobelia and your youngest brother Lothric who were staying within the tower. And it sounds from the descriptions like that is exactly who this is being served to. When you're done cooking, a servant is there to sort of whisk away the results and take them up
I hold a hand.
to the drawing
Let
room.
me do it. Allow me.
The servants kind of look at you, not recognizing you, and glance at the apprentices who seem to be fine with you being there, and they shrug. And the servant,
I motion to the stack of strawberry pancakes. Eat. Rest a little bit. Let me take over for you.
ooh, make me a persuasion check, because this one kind of matters.
That's
You want
fair.
these guys. You definitely don't want these guys to come up to the room. To your knowledge, what this poison is going to do is simply incapacitate the people who eat this.
I use an inspiration because I got a 2. I don't want that.
Right?
So, is the
That's not as
inspiration?
good as I rolled.
Ooh.
You know he's
That
eating your
is-
character sheet, right?
Huh?
No, I just
What's up?
Alina has Pico biting character sheets. It's just
All right. That's a 17
Sure.
plus 10.
that is better than I rolled. Yeah, you managed to convince these servants. It's not too hard. They absolutely hate the Boltree kids because they're dicks, and you have offered them an out with a bunch of treats and someone else to take the situation away from them. So the one sort of head servant or like the one sort of in charge here says that he will send up one of the guards to announce you just in case they don't recognize you since you're new.
You're very kind. Thank you so much.
And then he happily partakes of the staff meal that you have made for everyone. So one bored-looking guard sort of leads the way upstairs to the landing where the drawing room at the one end. Remember, the other end of the hall, you were in the library. At the other end of the hall is a drawing room across from the bedrooms. And the guard goes there, knocks on the door when an imperious command of enter comes. He opens the door and says, chef with your snacks, milady. And they don't even pay too much attention. They don't care that they don't recognize you because they're the nobility, right? You're just the help.
Of course.
And you walk in. I'm going to get you to make a deception roll, but you don't have a high bar here because they're not really expecting anything.
Now these are the ones who were there that night where things went down. They
Oh,
were
yes.
trying to kill.
Yep. This is your sister who was like trying to kill you with potions and other crazy magic, and her brother, who you managed to get cursed at the end of the whole situation. You're not sure if he still bears that curse, but he wasn't able to speak.
24.
Okay. Just roll a couple for them just in case. See how suspicious they are. All those are not good rolls.
Thank God.
My high roll is a 16, which is not enough to be overly suspicious. Lothric maybe raises one eyebrow, just sort of noticing that he doesn't know who you are. But immediately the raised eyebrow, like the eyes glaze over as his attention is captured by the little gingerbread house, and
I made
replaced
sure like
entirely by a look of greed.
one looks like him, one looks like her, one looks like the building looks like the house. I brought like a few bottles of various dessert wines and asked if they would like me to pour
Yep.
a drink for the night.
As you do this, the guard sort of boredly closes the door behind him and takes up his post outside. As you make this into a longer situation as you're pouring wine and serving them. Yeah, they are completely unaware of what's about to happen. And they
Yay.
continue their conversation. So you get to hear them talk a little bit about how annoyed their father is. The efforts to locate, how would they put it? Actually, they're just going to refer to you as the bastard. So they are talking about the soldiers searching town for the bastard and his friends, and how incompetent they are, and those ridiculous cultists, for all their silly little outfits and silly magic tricks, they can't even rout those little weasel creatures, the little quaggles out of the sewerways, let alone find this threat to them.
I told you it was a slur.
They use it as such. It's a reclaimed slur.
I will let them. I will stand quietly like a good servant, pouring the wine for them to drink.
They will happily eat of the food you have provided and drink of the wine, as they discuss how they are likely to need the assistance of the sorcerer twins, and Lothric will sort of pipe up. At which point you realize his curse has been lifted at some point,
Oh,
or removed, because he can speak again. As he says, "Well, there's only one of them now, and she's next to useless with her moaning and blubbering about her stupid brother. The Aliphus needs to bring them all to heel. If he can't get his people organized, they're never going to find that bastard and his little gang before they undo the entire ritual." At which point, Lobelia kind of like, and Lothric's getting very agitated. Lobelia will touch his hand and say, "Patience, my brother. Remember, the Dark Wizard is the real power behind this, and he has the little birdie caged. We won't have anything to fear, even the ritual is broken. It merely will put their plans behind schedule, and who cares? In the meantime, our cousin, he has come to power, and we will be put in places of esteem in this freezing town. And that will lead to greater things, my brother. Our father and our uncle won't live forever, you know. She kind of gives him like a sly smile when she says that. Like there's some more meaning there behind just, I wonder how long my dad's going to live. At which point, Lothric, who's been just chowing down, is going to make a saving throw with disadvantage. So the low roll on the die is a 12. The target is a 15. His constitution bonus is not sufficient. So he takes like a great big chunk. He's been just kind of he's been completely ignoring the artistry of what you've made and is just grabbing chunks off of the gingerbread house and stuffing them in his mouth. He's just in mid cram putting like one of the doors in his mouth, and he goes, but what I want to know, and he just totters over and collapses. At which point Lobelia jumps to her feet and lets out just a single shriek.
If I think she's about to scream, can I do something?
Yes, you can.
Can I sap her?
Roll me an initiative to see if you get it first.
Let's see.
She does not have a big bonus.
Well, neither do I, but
You got a +3. You know what, though? I'm going to give you advantage on this initiative roll because you completely deceived them. They have no suspicion of you at all.
okay. Well, then I got a 19 of the two.
Then you win.
All right.
So you may act. She opens her mouth to scream in total shock, seeing what happened to her brother.
Okay. Do I have any of the torpor poison left?
Oh, yeah. There were multiple doses.
Instead of like sapping her, I want to shove it in her mouth and hold it in until she swallows.
So you were in the process of putting some in the wine just to speed up the process. So you just like grab her face and splash the wine in her mouth and like clamp your hand over her mouth. So go ahead and make me an attack roll. With advantage, this is a surprise attack.
Is +6 for my attack?
Yes, indeed.
All right. I'm about to become a serial killer.
About.
I was gonna say, isn't the number like very low, like 3? Like.
Yes. Okay. You know what? You don't have to be right. Okay. Oh my God! This is.
I think you don't know who I am if you're saying you don't have to be right to me.
You're right.
What's your attack?
Usually am.
The first one was a 12, but it's accepted with advantage, correct?
Yep.
Good. I'd like to hear. I'm uploading image because I'm very proud of it.
Excellent.
But not in Alabama way.
All right. So you successfully
Guys,
clamp your hand over her mouth.
No, this is very good story-wise. I love this.
I'm going to give you an equivalent of sort of what your sap talent does, but not the full stun. I'm going to give her a constitution save to see how long you're able to kind of keep her silent. So she manages to let out like a muffled yelp around your hand. She's not entirely sort of stunned for a significant length of time, but very quickly thereafter, she has to make her Constitution save. And her high roll would make it, her low roll will not. And she swoons in your arms.
Aw.
But you hear from her muffled yelp, you hear outside the door the guard's voice say, "Lady," and he gives a little tentative knock.
I go to the door and creak. She spilled a little bit of wine on her dress. Could you go get some, like a wash basin for me, please?
Give me a persuasion roll on that. I think that's
That's fair.
reasonable. That's reasonable.
That's a reason suspicious about. I got a 19 total.
He has a 7 total. So, you hear him bustle away quickly because obviously he doesn't want to leave his post for too long, but he goes running off.
All right,
And
I lost it immediately.
Yeah. You lock the door.
and
They are
as-
completely incapacitated.
As I return to them, I just go back to my true form. It's like, you wanted the bastard, well, here he is. My goodness, you have been very busy. As I pull out a dagger. You know, the Raven Queen sent me here for a reason. I wasn't sure what it was. And now I realize it was because she's about family and wanted to reunite us. And this is a chance for you to make right. Can I spend my hero point for something specific?
What are you thinking?
I want to spend my hero point to basically contact my children because they tried to hurt my babies.
That's true.
It's like, I think you should apologize for what you did to my children.
I will take a hero point for this because the nature of this poison is like the sleeping bee or the Snow White thing. It puts them to sleep, and
Okay.
clearly you would rather that they are conscious.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
No, but I with a hero point we can edit this scene. Alina, you might need to do some camera jumping.
Yeah, kick out this clone, Peter. It's the real McCoy.
The real McCoys, yeah.
The true
Da-da-da-da.
Copernicus has arrived.
Thankfully, the true Copernicus does not see what's going on.
Nope.
I just see a rain of 20s and 1s in the chat.
Yes.
The good news, it was all with advantage, so ones don't matter.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Are we good yet?
Believe so.
It still looks messed up to me, but I know it takes a second. Although I'm still seeing Peter Clone in here. See, probably need to shut it down. There we go.
There we go. All right, now I think we're back in the right spot.
Except that Copernicus is not being seen because his camera's not on.
Is it not?
No, it's on your end, Peter. But
Oh, I
I
see.
I just have
Oh,
an
the
away
overlay.
message for you.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So go ahead.
Guys, I need to answer.
Say again. You cut out there, Randy. Can you say that again? Oh, we just lost Randy.
I'm so close to having everything fixed.
And now it's all messed up again.
It's good. It's good. You came in at a very good time.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys,
Murder.
we're all here for this. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
absolutely.
This has been a fair while coming.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
I spent a black token.
Oh no. Does this involve some relatives?
Maybe. I love that last game when no one else was here. We like contacted Tromlin. We were like, he's like, I'm up to some personal business. We're like, oh, murdering your siblings. Cool.
Oh dear.
But
Just
in
assumed.
actual fact, it turned out to be nothing related to that at all.
Ah,
Of course.
What I might do, just in case it takes a minute here for Randy to get back, I might jump to Fetid
Right.
and see what was up there. So Fetid, you had disappeared in the shadows so you could sneak across the room through all the soldiers and get back your bow.
Yeah.
Toad had done his crazy like 20-foot tongue attack and wrenched it out of your hands and then thrown it across the room so it landed behind all the soldiers.
Yeah.
By the time you got it back, though, Ugna had done her crazy bellowing intimidation thing, and the remaining surviving, and of course, Morgan had exploded everyone around the doorway, and the remaining surviving soldiers and warlocks fled down the stairs,
Okay.
leaving you in a position to potentially go after them. Now,
I
at
think I
that
will
point,
definitely do that.
yeah, and at that point, Toad was basically down and bleeding from the eyes, with your various friends pretty much standing over him. So you snuck down the stairwell, taking out a couple of the. I think I said you pot shotted a couple of the weasels on their way down the stairs.
Okay.
And by the time you get down the stairwell, you see that the guards have fallen back, and at the bottom of the stairs, they have a bunch of shield wall defensive positions and some overturned tables. And they are just the ones that come fleeing down just get behind the defensive position and turn. And then the one of the weasel warlocks goes, "Come on, let's rally the troops. We've got to get back up there. Lord Toad, we have to rescue him." And so one of these weasel warlocks kind of seems to be taking over as the leader here.
Okay. Let's see. And I
Peter?
got my bow back?
Yes.
Peter, look at stream.
Okay. I would like to attempt to shoot that guy who's taking charge.
Abso-smurfly.
Maximum chaos.
Give me an attack roll with advantage because of your hidden position.
Yes.
I'm just going to throw a message out to
a
Randy on the general.
That is a 24.
Excellent. That is definitely a hit. So you can go ahead and roll me. I'm going to assume that you were able to put your hunter's mark on him.
Yes.
And you already had your bow activated. So go ahead and roll me your 1, 2, 3 D6, 46 if you want to throw the swarm on it.
Yeah, I'm going to. 1, 2, 6. 8 is 14.
I'm amused that just
19
because Randy's coming back, Alina's just got Peter and Raven locked in a single little screen.
We're roommates.
There's only one screen.
Yep.
I think I'm leaning towards the correct side now. It took me a minute to figure out the reversals, but we got there.
What was
Also
the damage?
watching
This is-
myself on stream trying to figure out
Which side is which?
the delay.
This
Yeah,
is
with the
giving-
delay.
This is giving me PTSD from that one Doctor episode.
What's the damage, Jeff?
Could fix it. I'm just gonna fix it.
Jeff, I didn't get the damage number.
26. No,
Excellent.
that was to hit. It was 19.
19 on 46. Is that with your
Yep.
bonus?
Yep,
Okay. And you have a second attack.
I do. Let's see if that hits. I still have advantage, correct? That will
Yes.
also hit.
And this time your
What, 3d6 on the second one?
Yeah, 3d6 because you can't use the swarm more than once per round.
7.
Oh, there we go. Morgan, you're back
That is
where you
another
should be.
13 damage.
Alina, did you want to get Peter's camera sorted?
What do you think I'm doing?
Okay, cool. What was the damage this time?
13?
Selfish for you.
19 and 13. Okay.
Didn't you hear her crying last
Yeah,
night?
you like put a couple arrows in his back and he drops.
Nice.
She was like.
Oh,
running
Raven, I got
around
your
with her
background noise
toy.
going on.
Yeah, we're hearing some goss.
Just Cinnamon being a big baby.
So yeah, one of the weasels takes command and immediately gets dropped with arrows from the shadows. At which point, the guards all take up defensive position and start readying crossbows to fire in your direction. But you can easily sort of duck back up the stairs a ways.
Sorry about that. It was a potential lord who is not going to be a landlord.
Oh, is that a call? Cool.
Yeah.
It's okay. I jumped over to Fetid for a moment, so I'll just
Oh,
finish
please
up
do.
with him.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And so you can easily jump back up the stairs, and then you hear a hail of like randomly blind fired crossbow bolts hit against the stairs. But as you do so, coming back up towards the landing, you hear and see the trio of riverfolk, Badger, Ratty, and Mole, pick up the limp and whimpering body of Toad with crusty blood all over his eyes, as Badger pronounces, "It's you will have to stand justice with your people, Toad." Oh, I'm such an idiot. What a fool I've been, oh Badger, oh Mole, oh Ratty. And they tut and shake their heads as they move off to one of the grates that connects the upper story of the tower to the lower. And you quickly realize, of course, with your Quaggle knowledges, that they have a back way down to the sewers. And you watch as they leave with the bemoaning Toad. And then moments later, hearing the guards below rallying and firing, Copernicus grabs Ugna and Morgan, and the three of them disappear with an explosion that sends the little plinth in splinters in all directions, and the ring of immobilized statues all fall over. What do you want to do?
I think I want to follow and see what becomes of Toad. Make sure he doesn't get a chance to do anything.
So the three riverfolk take him down through the sewers, and all the while Badger is lecturing him on, your father was a respected Toad, and he was never given to such flights of fancy and joining cults and trying to. What are you even trying to do, Toad? We're going to have demonic powers and rule the weak masses. It was all in service to the glorious Queen of Ravens. Oh, Badger, I see what a fool I've been. These flights of fancy blood cults and mystic amulets, no more for me. And you can tell from the conversation, Mole keeps like patting him on the shoulder, and he's just like, "Oh, don't be too hard on him, Badger. Toady was always a good fellow. He does right by his friends and offers us ham sandwiches when we come round." Ratty's just shaking his head. as they march him. They're one on each side, Ratty and Badger, and they're kind of frog marching him, ha ha ha,
Hey.
down the tunnel, with Mole sort of like wringing his hands and picking up the rear.
Mhm.
They seem to be taking him to the main cavern where the Quaggle war efforts were going on, to where Trit was commanding things.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, I think I'll keep following. I'm curious to see how this goes.
And basically giving you the opportunity, if you to whatever you want to happen to Toad. You've got some opportunities. So they're going to bring him into the chamber, and immediately a group of goblins forms up, all like frowning with their arms folded at him. And Trit says, "Mr. Toad, you've been very naughty. You should have been supporting your own people, us Quaggles. Whether the river folk or the hill folk or the city folk, we're all in this together. And I don't cotton to any of this kind of weird magic cults and taking over the world. That's not the Quaggle way." And Toad is just like weeping. He's kind of like wiped away. He's been crying so much, the blood from the blood magic has kind of washed away. And now he's kind of sniveling and like adjusting his like fancy outfit. And saying, "Oh, well, I say, it could have happened to anyone. If it's just so beguiling to have a magic amulet give you so much power. I won't do it again. I've had enough of weird secret cults and
Don't make us feel bad about murder. How dare you?
Yeah.
Take our one joy away from us. Rude.
Badger standing behind him says, "I think there's only one just punishment. We shall put you to work in the kitchens, washing some greasy pots. Will make you think twice about joining secret cults."
Smoke this whole pack of cigarettes and think about what you did.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, you want to join a cult, do you? You join 10. Now, how do
Needs
you
a
like
parent.
All right. Well, this
No.
seems like a satisfying judgment to me, so I think I'm willing to
All
leave
right.
it there.
All right. I'm totally happy with that going in any direction. So yeah, they take him off, and until the next time Toad has some crazy scheme. I'm sure everyone has read Wind in the Willows or watched the Disney film.
Mhm.
If you haven't, you should. It's very good.
Mr. Toad and his crazy fads. One week he's driving cars, and next week he's
Cults.
joining cults. Yep. So in that case, you can fairly quickly go searching for your friends, and in fact, they're heading in this way. It's not long after that invisibly Copernicus, Morgan, and Ugna make their way from the streets back down into the sewers to get in a short rest and try and regain a few hit points before helping the Quaggles to take advantage of the lack of leadership amongst the weasels and start fighting their way back. And so this pretty much catches us up with where you guys were last time, because I said that eventually Fetid will hook up with you guys again, and making your way back into the Citadel dungeons once you've cleared out enough of the tunnels. you manage to find out with Fetid's skulkery that indeed the Baron Langarian has taken over Nightshade's chambers, and the soldiery of the Boltrees and the Langarians have completely ensconced themselves within the tower. And as you're sort of getting this intel, I believe I also said that Fetid was able to find out that the search has like really ramped up since you took out the stones. And now the soldiers are doing like house to house searching through the city to try and find this band of rebels, as you're being described by the nobles. And they're definitely trying to search you out. Now that process was like several nights later, but because of the time dilation with Tromlin in the mists, I'm just going to say it's basically the same time. So let's jump back to Tromlin.
Sorry, guys.
Who had just chosen
That's
to spend
fine.
a hero point.
Yeah.
No one will tell me what's going on.
You'll see.
I'll reset the scene. So Tromlin, here you are in the drawing room of your uncle's manor, with your unconscious siblings poisoned on the
Well, no,
floor.
they're conscious.
before you.
They're just frozen, paralyzed.
Yes. So instead of a poison that puts them to sleep, with your hero point, we're making this a poison that paralyzes them and they're fully conscious.
Taking away that hero point now.
And additionally, thanks to your hero point, you have with you a black crystal that you gained in your time in the Underdark, which allows you to contact your offspring. And so you crush this little crystal in your hand, and a dark little opening blossoms in the air, lined with bits of spiderweb. It's like that blowing, flowy cobweb, like in The Secret of Nim, that's all over the Don Bluth owl, like drifting in the breeze from this.
Oh yeah, the great horned owl.
And you hear the song, the distant song of your daughter, Webbigail.
My favorite. I take various bits of jewelry off of my siblings, because why let it go to waste? I will also case the room to see if there's anything we're taking.
Not really much from the room, but certainly from their persons.
Alright, well, I definitely want to remove them of various artifacts on their body, but at the same time, you could have just treated me like your big brother. You could have treated my children with respect. Don't worry. They have an appetite for forgiveness.
So, knowing that the guard is coming back soon with the basin you sent him for, but having plenty of time to from the hero point, what are you looking to do? Do you want to set the scene for me? As Matt Mercer would say, how do you want to do this?
So as the was it just going to be Webbigail or all four?
I mean, Webbigail's the one that you immediately, but like you can say, hey, get your sisters, and as you choose.
I'll basically call them. Tromlin will call through the web to Webbigail. It's like, do you remember my brother and sister who tried to harm you and your siblings when you were but wee babes? I think it's time you, and if you would like, your sisters, repay that unkindness and show them that family sticks together, or family sticks to the ribs.
In her sing-song voice, but then joined almost immediately by the others, you hear, yes, Father, we shall. and a bunch of like skittering fingers, but like spider legs ring little hole, making little like gimme, gimme, gimme motions.
Shove them
A
through
treat,
the
father,
web.
a treat.
I shove my siblings through the web and give them each a kiss in the forehead. It's like, see, isn't this better? We're ending on great terms. Push.
As they pass the threshold, they're like immediately being cocooned.
Nice.
And you
I
see
will
them disappear into the shadows, like the dwarves in the Rankin Bass Hobbit, with just like eyes and cocoon webs and big
Tromlin will
terrified
blow a
eyes.
kiss to his children through the web. Daddy misses you.
This is such a beautiful 2-for-1. You get to teach your kids not to kill each other, or go after each other, or else they get taken out completely.
And they're grown, and Daddy's still giving them a snack every once in a while, just because he loves them.
Yeah.
You're-
Very
Look, you're
Thank you,
always a dad.
father.
Right?
You're always a dad.
You hear the chorus. Thank you, father. A gift
I
from
will-
father.
Before I misty step out of here and just escape, I'm going to leave a note by the cake that says, "Thank you for the hospitality. We couldn't eat another bite. Tea and children."
Excellent. You
And
do that, and
I'm-
you hear a key in the door as like a thumping, because you locked the door, and you hear like a jingling of key, and sort of a what the heck kind of muttering outside. But of course, there's a window here, and you quickly take 2 steps and pass through the mists, and find yourself. You can see the top of the wall from here, and you find you're now perched on the top of the wall, and then you drop with your elven cloak back into the shadows of the alleyway, and make your way off into the night.
and time to go find my friends and tell them what I've done.
Yep.
Just a few murders. And you didn't actually do the murders.
Yeah.
It's fine.
What did you do?
Connected
All you
with
did
my-
was make some treats for people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gave a bunch
I
of people
spent a
treats.
whole night baking my fingers to the bone.
Making treats for your siblings and your children.
I earned that #1 dad mug.
Actually, when you
Maybe
pass
not
through
#1 brother.
when you pass through the mists, when you do the next misty step, there's a little residual passing through the mist. Takes a little longer than expected again, but when you appear on the other side, you're holding like a #1 dad mug in like weird unseelie rune script.
I have to tell them everything now. Shit.
It's like made of spider webs.
I guess I go to find the rest.
So meanwhile, this is when Copernicus, you were getting messaged from Dangalf. So you had received Dangalf's many messages that he attempted to get out the simple phrase that he wanted you to come to Mud Hollow as quickly as possible. And he had suggested that you could use that there was a teleportation circle in the Wizard's Vale. And when you informed him that you had access to a teleportation circle, he suggested that he would send you the appropriate ritual information to a place of your choosing. And you said that the best place to do that would be your cousin's dojo, which I will remind you is the currently abandoned Sunshine Martial Academy, an austere little temple for the training of monks.
Okay, but we can't leave without, like, Fetid and Tromlin, right? Have you guys heard from
Fetid,
him
remember,
lately?
Fetid already found you. You
Oh,
got
that's right.
Fetid.
Yeah, I
Fetid's
caught
here.
up.
He's just, like, behind a
Yep.
trash can. I forgot about him.
It happens all the time.
I'll send Tromlin a text and see if he's on his way. So, like, not to rush you, but just wondering how things are going with the suspicious business you mentioned earlier. And send your loving grandpa.
Reply, "Oh, business was complete. Family visited. The children say hi."
So lovely. I love hearing from the great-grandchildren. You know, Tromlin really, he really took to his fatherhood role. I love that for him.
Oh,
I
did he
think
see
he'll
the
be here
kids?
soon.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
he got to see the kids. Yeah.
Tell him
That's
Auntie
all he was
Ugna says
doing.
hi.
Oh yeah, Ugna says hi. Auntie Ugna says hi.
I will see you all shortly.
Morgan has slinked off to puke some more just to like recover. Just to make sure it's all out.
It's been days by now. You were able to. In fact, you actually had a bath. I believe you had the Quaggles find a secret way into one of your old safe houses so you could actually have a bath
Is it
because
the
there's
next
no
day?
such thing in sewers.
Did we like long rest last night?
It's been several days because
Oh, okay.
after so you had your short rest, and then you helped the Quaggles fight back the Weaselkin
Sweet.
and take back
I'm just
the
gonna
tunnels around the Citadel.
do some hit dice
Um,
over here.
Yeah, so you're all
Yeah.
long rested at this
Nice.
stage. The first night you reconnected with Fetid and he helped you fight in the tunnels against the weasels, but you never, despite several attempts, it took a while before Copernicus got through to Tromlin, and that would be earlier this same day that you first heard him say that he had to take care of some family business, and now you've contacted him again. So you can let Tromlin know where you're at in the sewers and kind of give him a place to meet you, and he will arrive at a particular sewer entrance you guys have used before, and you'll be waiting there when Tromlin comes out of the darkness.
Well, it's wonderful to see you again. I take it that your siblings are well.
I didn't get a chance to ask my children how they taste. I'm sure they were great.
More like well done.
I'm glad.
Especially the-
I'm glad you got to have a wonderful family dinner.
Yes, but there's something else I need to discuss with you. When I misty stepped earlier, I was sort of waylaid.
In what sense?
I pulled down my jacket collar to reveal my new tattoo.
Oh, sick tattoo.
So Peter missed this, I think.
Yeah, everyone else. So Copernicus. Well, that's fine because Copernicus wasn't
We're
there.
just seeing it
Yeah,
for
we
the
can
first time.
roleplay my ignorance genuinely.
Yeah.
No, but you, ignorance aside, you recognize that tattoo. It's the tattoo that the Weasel Raven cultists all had.
Oh. What do I know about people being like tattooed into a cult against their will or like without their consent?
I mean, someone could have. Like, I mean, if it's just a tattoo, it's just a tattoo, right? Like,
Brandy,
if someone is like unconscious, you can tattoo them, for example. So that could be a thing that happened. It's up to
Tromlin,
you how Copernicus takes this. Do you think like he went out and joined the cult, or do you think
No,
Sick
he says he was
Raven
someone
waylaid.
tattooed him in his sleep?
Yeah.
Tromlin, how high were you?
I was sober enough to realize it was that or get murdered by her because I met her avatar.
Hmm.
Her who?
The Raven Queen's avatar.
Oh.
Oh.
So she intercepted me and said that she wanted me to do some favors for her. Apparently, part of that involved killing my siblings.
Oh. I suppose that she really had to twist her arm on that one, huh?
It would be like
I'm beginning
slaps you
to
on the
wonder.
back and goes, "It's been a long time coming."
Yeah.
Yes. I am kind of beginning to wonder how much the cultists are in line with her, because she doesn't seem to care. But that being said, I did manage to get her to alter the contract I in air quotes, chose to sign, that I can't hurt any of you.
So you're
Well, that's
not part of the Raven cult, but you're with the Raven
Working.
cult.
I serve her directly, but I'm not a cultist. I do not worship her.
Okay.
All
Can
right.
I Arcana his tattoo and just get a sense of what's well
You
up in
certainly
there?
can.
That's a 21.
So you certainly recognize a lot of bits and pieces of this story. It is not unheard of for people to sign contracts with the Fae. You certainly, the stuff that I said to Tromlin before, which I just remembered Peter doesn't know, so never mind. You would be aware, as Tromlin was, that the Fae are like super fickle creatures, and the relationship of a warlock to their patron is not like the relationship of a cult to a cult leader.
Yeah.
The Raven cult are, they're led by warlocks of the Raven Queen. That doesn't mean that the Raven Queen like personally goes, "Hi, here's my manifesto, and you guys are going to do the things I want."
Yeah.
It's not how it works. And like these, like when your patron is an archfey, it's particularly fucking crazy because archfey are fey, so they're not like, yes, here is my extremely reasonable set of very straightforward things I want you to do. You, for example, are not exactly, day to day going, "Yep, my patron said I got to do this today, so I'm going to go do it."
Yeah.
That's not how warlock patrons work. So the goals of the cult and the goals of the actual Raven Queen archfey aren't necessarily the same.
Yeah. This is like the Trump cult is not the same thing as Christianity. There's some distance between those things.
That's quite an interesting analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Zionism isn't Judaism. Oh no, we're demonetized.
Canceled.
But
R.I.P. Jack Black. R.I.P.
I didn't say
Jack
that.
Black.
I didn't say that out loud, did I? But yeah, so you would recognize that if this was some avatar of an actual archfey, they're playing a game of some kind.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily related at all to the cult, or it might be, and the cult is but the cult would just be another piece on the chessboard.
Yeah.
In the end, the ongoing Seelie unseelie thing is like an eternal,
back and forth.
like social club, who snubs who and who gets to like get the best of who, and like in like esoteric ways that mortals don't even understand, let alone relate to.
But they also informed me that apparently I am the result of a contract between my mother and a Fey prince.
Oh.
Huh. Which one? I mean, not that I know any of them, but like, which one though?
Which mother?
Fairy prince? I think we
Hold
know
on.
who your mom is.
Yeah, we sure fucking do. Hold on, let me pull it up. My mother's name is Maria Boltree. And
Marion.
Prince
Marion,
Helican?
like Maid Marian.
Yeah. Prince Helican, Lord of the Gloaming.
Morgan, do you know anything about that?
Prince Helican?
I
would let Morgan roll an Arcana.
Getting out them good dice.
All right, let me just shake it up a little bit so the glitter isn't all on the one. I'm not a cheater. That's a 12. I think my
That's an
Arcana.
18.
Nice. Just about 20. Do the same for my liquid core.
I just want to say I'm very amused because I did not think that Tromlin was just going to come straight out and just say, "Here's all the things that happened to me."
Hey, here's my secrets.
Hey, they're the party. Like, that's the one thing Trump does. He does not hide from them.
Absolutely.
100% valid.
They're your family.
Just completely caught the DM off guard, but I am very, very pleased.
You know that the usual thing in gaming is like, oh, it's a dark secret, but I was like, nah, I can't lie to y'all. This puts you guys in danger. I can't do it.
Way more interesting. Tell us all.
We're supposed to say the stuff that's important that we know about, instead of trying to hide the fact we've been undead for 3 years.
See, I just get around that by not knowing
Hey.
things.
You're kind of incompetent when it comes to the hiding part, so it's not that big a deal.
It doesn't really matter.
He's undead?
Fair.
Thought he was just really old.
You know what? The undead part, I'm certain of. The human part.
So Morgan, you are. I mean, you're a little torn here, because Tromlin just flat out told you that he's pledged himself to an archfey of the Unseelie Court, and pretty much all the Fae that you know are Seelie. And you're kind of peripherally Seelie.
Really by association.
You have heard the name. You've heard of the Lord of Gloaming, for two reasons. One, just you rolled well enough on Arcana that just that's a Seelie that you've heard of before. But you know a little bit more than that. You actually know that he is a Fae that you've heard tell of in the cult. The Seelie Fae, of course, being the Randier variety. And so, for example, you know that Prince Helican is a what's the word I'm looking for? Vassal of the Horned King, who's one of the Seelie Archfey, for example. What else am I going to give you with an 18? Sorry, did you also roll Copernicus?
Yes, mine total is 21 for Arcana.
Okay.
But I think you already kind of gave me the answer that it's like pretty normal to like these sorts of pacts are not unheard of. I feel like I got
Yeah. I mean, like, in fact, it's a whole thing that like the Fae make the mortals get into deals that may not be a great idea to get into. It's the whole
You could have had
signing a
pact with the Fae.
contract with the Fae is a bad idea.
You could have done it if you
Yes.
wanted.
Generally.
Is there any way that I could like get a copy of the contract that Tromlin signed or review the terms based on the tattoo?
Freedom of
Not based on
Information
the
Act.
tattoo. Freedom of Information.
Yeah.
It's a Fae Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
An FF. Whatever.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
So two things. So based on your role generally, you've certainly heard of this idea that someone may like sign a contract that like gives up their firstborn, that sort of thing. It's like a standard contract. It's like the Rumpelstiltskin contract. It's a standard contract. Everyone's heard of that.
Yeah.
The boilerplate's called the Rumpelstiltskin Clause.
And if that would 100% be an explanation for why Tromlin is, right? If his mother signed away her firstborn child, and then that manifested
she got
as
rugged
the
and
firstborn
rumpled.
child became, a satyr, a Fae touched. It also would explain something to you, because you've always kind of wondered why and you would not have likely ever said this to him, but since you learned of his story, you may have wondered why his parents didn't kill him. If they're as like awful as they seem, why did they like dump him in an orphanage instead of offing him if they were
they didn't want the retaliation of the Fae, because it would have been like kind of like
they would have broke the contract.
Yeah.
You can't give someone you can't go, I will give you this object as part of our agreement, and then I'm going to destroy the object.
Yeah.
Also, potentially means Tromlin belongs to some Fae. I mean, he does now, but he might have before, too.
He might belong to two. Um, so yeah, it's a little sad because like the other possibility would have been that they were not as bad people as all that, and they couldn't bring themselves to kill him, and they just wanted to like
Yeah.
have him live a life that he wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah. It was the last corner of his story where there may have been something other than utter self-interest motivating decision making, and we just cleared up. No, that was
No.
also probably
Mm-mm.
utter self-interest. Yep.
Now, maybe
I-
not, but you would have to like investigate them possibly to learn more.
I mean, I already wrote all of them off.
Yeah.
Well, there's two
I
less to
heard-
write off now.
Yeah.
What about your parents, though?
They're not coming up. Don't worry.
You still have one more sibling too.
I'm wondering
Your older brother is
if there's
So
like
hard.
some. I think there's got to be like a Fey notary that we could get a hold of.
I thought you said a Fey ovary. I'm like, what the?
No, a notary, obviously.
Tromlin knows lots about Fey ovaries.
And what do they do?
Oh, witness to contracts and ways. They're like a way to keep track of them. There might be some keeper of secrets that could help us at least find a direction to look at for any kind of contract that you were signed into pre-birth or after birth by someone else. But
Yeah, good to get a look at both contracts.
Magic lawyer.
yeah.
Think the wizards would know somebody like that?
What are our options here, DM?
Well, right now you've just gathered back together, and you are supposed to go and meet some kind of message or messenger from Dangalf
Yeah,
at the monastery.
Well, I think we should make our way then. And perhaps Dangalf will have counsel relevant to this.
Ugne's been sitting in the corner, like, just polishing her weapons and trying to take the dings out of them, put them on the whetstone. And the minute you say, let's go, they're all, like, inches away. She's up on her feet. She's, like, in fact, taken her hair and, like, tied it back into a ponytail. And is, like, tying a bandana around her forehead. Let's go.
Do you have the blink spell? You move so quickly when it's battle time.
You know what? I just itching for a fight. We've been sitting around doing nothing for days. It's good to get out there again.
All right.
Ugna is suddenly all business.
Well then,
So you make your way through the tunnelways. Fetid, of course, can lead you easily through the tunnels to the monastery again. When you get near the monastery and come above ground to get a look at it, you notice two things immediately. One, the doors have been broken in, and you can see like clutter in the yard. The place seems to have been recently ransacked. And the second thing you notice is that there are guards patrolling around the building.
How many guards?
Like a couple patrols worth. Like
have the gates been like smashed beyond repair, or are they like we could close them and find something else to bar them again?
With tricks like mending, you might be able to. Because remember, there's an open courtyard with no like gate. It's just open, with like an opening into it, and then the building itself has the big oaken doors. Those are the doors that have been broken down.
Okay.
What's the charge for the roll to restore my thunder charges per day? It's like a D6, right?
It's a D3 plus 1.
Cool. 6 would be 3, 4 would be 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So plus 2. You're probably full up.
I am back to full.
It had been several days, so you're probably at full 4 charges.
Let's do this.
I think we should be as stealthy as we can as we poke about and try to see where the messenger is. And do we feel that closing the door behind us would lock the messenger out or prevent more guards from coming in to aid those that we are about to kneecap in the pursuit of securing them? I think that any messenger from Dangalf will have resourceful ways to get in. I think perhaps we can close the door behind us.
I don't think any messenger from Dangalf is going to be an idiot, but lead on.
Yeah.
You do have to wait for the message. So if you do start just a fight with the guards,
Sneaking is probably better.
you'd have to keep fighting guards until your message arrived.
Yeah. Well, I think let's how much time do we have until then? Do we know?
I think what would you? It was just a sending, so you gave him the location and the time.
Oh,
you
I see.
probably
Okay,
would have
sorry,
gave him
sorry.
something. You probably would have said, sunshine, Marshall Academy, noon or something. Like you would have had to give it.
We left early. We didn't stop for snacks. We're good.
Okay, so how long until, like, how much time are you trying to kill here?
It's up to you. You can, like, if you're there, I'm assuming you're there at least a little early.
Yeah, I think 5 minutes early, and we'll keep hidden until the appointed time.
So you're just at the moment, just so I understand, you're basically like watching the building. You're not trying to get in, or what are you doing?
I think we're watching until about 5 minutes before, and then we will sneak on in.
So let's get some stealth rolls from the group.
Do we want to do a pass without trace fetid?
Jeff, that was it, you, Jeff?
Oh, yes. I am ready to pass. All of us without trace.
Love it.
So that'll be a +10 to everybody's stealth roll.
Ooh, that's good because I only rolled a 6, so I think that is 21.
I think, though, and actually, Tromlin can tell us otherwise, Randy, I believe the default Blessing of the Trickster is generally done on Ugna.
Yes.
Okay, so I get advantage?
Yeah, and that lasts an hour, so we can presume that he would have given you that within
that's much
this
better.
time frame.
So that is a 30.
That is much better.
That's better than a 6.
That's
although
better.
I'm sure you hadn't added the 10 yet to the 6.
I mean, it was
16 to 30.
It was 16 to 30.
What everybody else got?
30 over here.
29.
I rolled a 4, which still gives me a 22. So
Nice.
22 for me as well.
Okay, 22s are the low rolls. I'm just going to throw a few random guard patrol perception checks out there. Okay, I have made some rolls, and you are waiting patiently to see what this messenger takes the form of. And I think that that's a good place to pause for a break and see what happens with those rolls and this messenger immediately thereafter. And just for the audience, I want to let you know that as soon as we come back from break, I'm going to be doing a poll.
Heck.
Get your votes ready.
Mm-hmm.
So get
We'll
ready.
See y'all in, 10?
Yep, we'll do
All
the
right.
usual 10.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.